Now at 9, going to tell you about a new effort to focus on students' mental health.
A judge hears the case over whether or not to keep the affidavit which led to the FBI's raid at Mar-a-Lago sealed. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. What we learned from court coming up.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Lamar, Missouri police are investigating the death of a 36-year-old woman. Authorities responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m. That's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital where she died. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow in Springfield. An update to a story we brought to you last week. Carthage police on Friday responded to a call about a 3-year-old who was found unresponsive in a hot vehicle. The child was taken to a hospital in Springfield where she died. Now, authorities say the child got into the car on her own, could not get out. Police have submitted their investigation to the prosecutor, who will determine if charges will be filed. Doug Kenny joining us now. First look at the forecast. Hot today, but manageable, I think.
Yeah, not too bad across the region. We have partly sunny skies. Of course, the cumulus clouds kind of popping up during the afternoon, but 87 for a high, just shy of our normal high. 87.63 were the numbers for us today. We have pretty much clear skies right now. Not a whole bunch is going on. You can see some thunderstorms building in Nebraska and parts of Iowa. That's our next storm system, which will start to affect us here in about 24 hours. Temperatures right now sitting into the mid 70s. Looks pretty good. A very nice night. 63 by morning, 85 by noon, 90 by 5. Chances for thunderstorms, high temp at 91. We're going to break that down for you here in a bit.
Doug, thank you as always. The Kids Count study shows the number of children with mental health issues is increasing. KOAM's Sagoon Bumdeli has more on this story.
As students return back to school for a new school year, a school counselor at Joplin I says it is important to remind students to check in and protect their mental health.
There are several resources in mental health available in the Joplin area if parents are concerned that students are having a significant crisis in mental health, and school counselors can be a resource that parents can contact to point them to that extra help.
Students know a lot goes into mental health.
I would say that managing your mental health while away from home and away from your comfort zones is really, really important, because if you're not good in the head, for lack of a better word, a lot can go wrong in terms of your physical well-being goes down, your spiritual, financial well-being could even be impacted because you will stop going to work. And it can build up over time and create a load more problems.
As students begin to move into Missouri Southern State University for the new school year, I spoke to the lead counselor and therapist for MSSU, and she tells me steps that students can take to protect their mental health during the school year.
To find a routine that works for them, so focus on time management and get plenty of rest, sleep, eat well, find things that they can connect with, be that people in their dorms or people in their classes, or get involved on campus and know what their resources are.
In Joplin, Shagubamdele, KOAM News.
Counselors remind everyone students should not hesitate to reach out to parents, teachers, and school counselors when they need help. State of Kansas Fire Marshal's Office has a program called Get Alarmed Kansas that offers smoke detectors for hearing impaired or the deaf. The program provides smoke alarms to Kansas fire departments, and then they schedule a time to come and install the devices at homes. To be eligible, you must be a resident of Kansas, also have special approval by a doctor.
But it's very important, because if we didn't have that, he may not hear just a regular smoke alarm, and it'd be a disaster.
Just to give you some perspective here, hearing impaired smoke detectors run around $65 to $250 if you purchase them online. City of Coffeyville, Kansas wants to extend its broadband system to get as many as 700 rural homes connected. KOAM's Yana Hatala has more.
City of Coffeyville is seeking grant funds through a program called Link to provide high-speed internet service for underserved areas. Montgomery County Commission recently committed $100,000 as matching funds for the City of Coffeyville to enhance their broadband access. This happens if they are given grant funds from the Kansas Lasting Infrastructure and Network Connectivity Program. The city manager says They are focusing on expanding broadband for rural areas, especially after COVID, that made a lot of things go online.
Pandemic really made a need to get to the homes that are not getting communication through broadband.
The Link program would also help rural families to pay for their broadband connection by giving a $30 per month subsidy for low-income families.
Cost prohibitive to a family that's out there, struggling or something, that lives out in the country or rural. They can't afford it.
If the grant gets accepted, the city would get broadband installed in about 9 months.
We're passing those homes to reach out to those homes and try and get those installs either scheduled or done at that time.
The city already serves some customers in rural areas with their wireless equipment, but they are maxed out on their equipment, with the customers not getting great connections.
What they're able to do with fiber compared to what they have now, it's night and day.
This is a key to the future of the economy, not only here but everywhere.
In Coffeyville, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Commissioners say they won't give the city of Coffeyville money for the expansion if they don't get the Link grant. Well, today, KOAM's More Power Tour took us to Coffeyville, Kansas, where we spoke with many leaders of the community. The city is truly enriched with history that includes the Dalton Defenders and the Brown Mansion. City Manager Mark Hull took over the job a few years ago, but has lots of goals ahead. Hull's top priority is to preserve the historic town by improving housing and the infrastructure system as well. Hull says he thinks about the community when thinking about the future.
They've got a character that is stronger than anything I've ever seen. And with that, they're good people. And my hope is they deserve to win. And it is one of those that I just am amazed every day, is how much they care about each other. And I was going to say, instead of from the top down, in Coffeyville, it's from the bottom up that they care about people.
Because of changes in industry and, as many of us remember, the 2007 flood, the town's population has decreased by half, from 25,000 to 8,800. New reaction to a federal judge's decision to partially unseal the affidavit connected to the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago last week. The Florida judge acknowledging the Department of Justice's argument it contains sensitive information about sources, but the judge said the intense public interest warrants some release. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has a closer look from D.C.
He understands that the public is going to likely be entitled to some parts of this warrant application and its affidavit.
In South Florida, Judge Bruce Reinhart says he's inclined to make public some of the affidavit, which led to an early morning FBI raid at former President Trump's resort home. Also ruling the application for the warrant, the motion to seal, and the cover sheet be made public. The Justice Department objects to the release. They claim it would do irreparable harm to an ongoing investigation, which they say is in its early stages.
I think Judge Reinhart is going to protect the identity of confidential informants, and that's probably the right outcome here.
A number of news outlets asked to see why the drastic step of a raid was needed. It's already known 11 boxes of the highest levels of classified documents were taken out of Mar-a-Lago by agents. The former president claims everything was declassified, and he has encouraged the release of the affidavit.
It's really important to understand that what this does is it potentially betrays sources, and also crucially, it can tell adversaries how we gather information. So it is potentially very damaging to national security. The FBI had no choice but to do what they did here.
The judge also reminded attorneys they can appeal his decision.
It will be released eventually.
The Justice Department has 1 week to make suggestions on what they would want redacted. The judge has the final decision. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Gary Russo, a certain U.S. Navy from 1977 to 83. We are proud to thank and salute Gary Russo, native of Joplin. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Parsons head coach Jeff Scheibe explains how the Vikings can go from a good team to a great team.
Well, it turned out to be a great Thursday for us today. We actually had a decent amount of sunshine. There's cumulus clouds popping up in the afternoon, but clearing out now. Looks great. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, we got the rain Tuesday night, but we still need more rain. It's been so dry this summer. We still actually have an extreme drought, portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and then kind of a finger in southwestern Missouri. Everybody else under a severe drought, but at least the temperatures are better. July was hot, August has been hot, but look at the past 3 days. We've actually been below normal for this time of the year, which we will definitely take. Most of us today, mid to upper 80s across the region. We've dropped off over the past couple hours. Across the board, we're sitting into the mid 70s, which we will take. Outside, let's go to Joplin. 76, southerly winds, light, humidity, 60%. Now, there's nothing going on here. Any rain mainly across the Gulf of Mexico state, but look at this system spinning in. Look at these thunderstorms. This is our next storm system that will start to affect us by the time we head into tomorrow. So let's go into our future track. We're going to stop tomorrow morning, low to mid 60s. Looks pretty good. As we go through the day, we're going to warm up mid 80s by noon, and then as we go into the afternoon, look at these scattered thunderstorms, mainly our northern counties. Most of us are going to be dry. As we go through the evening hours, here's 7 p.m., hit and miss scattered thunderstorms. A little bit more coverage once we get into late evening. Now, most of these are going to be along and north of I-44. If you do have outdoor activities tomorrow evening, don't cancel them. These are going to be very hit and miss. If you would get hit, it wouldn't last long. Here's 2 a.m., scattered thunderstorms, northern half of the region, kind of dying as they push south and east. Here's Saturday morning, and then we dry out, partly sunny skies, but then we are going to have some additional pop-up thunderstorms a little bit farther south by the time we head into Saturday and Saturday evening. Again, don't cancel any outdoor activities. Scattered thunderstorms into Sunday morning. Here's your day planner for you Friday. Clouds will increase through the day. Nice start, 63, 85 by noon. High temp of 91 by 5, 90 degrees. Those hit and miss storms, northern counties for tomorrow. Still rain mainly to our south on Sunday, but our southern counties will have a chance for rain on Sunday. And then pretty dry as we head into Monday. Temperatures, they're going to be hot, mainly low to mid 90s next week. So here's Tuesday. We can go into Wednesday as well, mainly sitting into the 90s. Fairly dry next week, but overall not bad. 91 tomorrow, 93 Saturday, 84 on Sunday. And then we just kind of hold into the 90s most of next week. Hit and miss storms, of course, over the weekend. It's not going to be widespread, but at least we're going to have some chances out there.
Yeah, like you said, summertime storms, right? Classic. See you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Hey, these dog days of summer can be pretty hot, so Third Thursday in Joplin is taking it literally. Today, the Downtown Joplin Alliance hosted the Dog Days of Summer Third Thursday with special guests being doggos. At the event, there were dog watering stations to cool down your pet, and the biggest part of all, a doggy fashion show.
Today I love dogs and I just wanted to get out and let him have a good time. He always works for me and does what I need when I go to work, and I wanted to give him a day to have fun and do dog things.
Now today wasn't too hot, right? But just a reminder, if you have a dog, when it gets too hot out, just be mindful of their paws because they can burn real easily right on that hot asphalt or pavement for that matter. All right, coming up, asking people to bear with it.
The Federal Reserve says inflation could stay uncomfortably high for a while as lawmakers grapple with how to address it. But will their efforts hurt or help? I'm Madla Rivera in Washington with more on where the U.S. economy stands.
Federal Reserve officials say there are attempts and efforts to cool the economy might be working as some industries show signs of slowing down. But they warn inflation could still remain, quote, uncomfortably high. Now Republicans say the Democrats' latest spending bill could make the problem even worse. Fox's Madla Rivera reports now from Washington.
This one's only been on the market for 9 days.
After a hot streak of home buying, the housing market is seeing a cool summer. For the 6th month in a row, sales slumped, dropping almost 6% in July from June. Higher mortgage rates pushed some buyers to the sidelines as the Federal Reserve raised interest rates to fight inflation.
I'm in the construction industry, and it's definitely slowed down quite a bit.
But the retail industry is also taking a hit. Several stores like Kohl's are seeing sagging demand.
They have way too much inventory they're sitting on, and now they have to figure out how to unload it, which likely means selling it at a steep discount.
The White House is praising the economy's resilience, pointing to falling gas prices, bringing much-needed relief to families. At the same time, President Biden is getting ready to tout the Inflation Reduction Act, a massive healthcare, climate, and tax spending bill that Democrats say will do more to cut costs.
We face serious global challenges right now, inflation first and foremost, but there's also no question that the United States is better positioned than almost any major economy to weather those.
Still, some economic experts warn the bill could overheat the economy once again.
We've had a very nice downturn in oil prices, which has offset the other prices increasing, but those trends aren't going to stay.
The Biden administration is weighing action to forgive some student loan debt, but Republicans argue that would contribute to rising costs. In Washington, Malda Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, the CDC says they made mistakes.
Sweeping changes could be coming to the CDC after a stunning admission by its director. I'm Griff Jenkins at the White House. I've got the details coming up.
Sweeping changes could be coming to the CDC. This after its director has harsh words about the agency's COVID pandemic response. Fox News correspondent Griff Jenkins says more from the White House.
A stunning admission from CDC Director Rochelle Walensky saying the health agency fell short handling the COVID-19 pandemic. A new report prompting Walensky to announce a sweeping overhaul.
The CDC can restructure all at once, but the leaders have just made a lot of bad decisions.
The agency itself calling the COVID response confusing and overwhelming, pointing to confusion over masking, testing, and vaccinations.
Those policies shut down the state of Michigan for longer than any other state. We had restaurants closed down for 8 months.
The White House's COVID-19 response coordinator points to the unprecedented nature of the pandemic.
Our government agencies weren't designed to manage a once-in-a-century crisis like this. And I think while many of them performed admirably, there is no question in my mind that these agencies could have done better.
The course correction stems from an external review called for by Dr. Walensky back in April. The findings prompting the agency to make staffing changes and take steps to speed up and better communicate data releases. In a statement, Dr. Walensky responding in part, quote, "The ultimate goal of this effort is a new public health action-oriented culture at CDC that emphasizes accountability, collaboration, communication, and timeliness." The shakeup comes as the country faces new threats like monkeypox and polio.
At CDC, we remain committed to providing the necessary guidance, education, and resources as we continue to respond.
Any changes to the CDC will have to be approved by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. At the White House, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
All right, next, a visit up north to meet one proud little man continuing a mullet tradition. 8-year-old boy in Wisconsin is making headlines because of that, man. His luscious locks. Yeah, dude. Now he's advanced to the top 25 for the best mullet in the kids division of the USA Mullet Championship. His new do earned him the nickname Mufasa during wrestling season because coaches and fellow wrestlers said he looked like a lion's mane on top of his head. But these days, most people just know him as Mullet Boy because of his growing fame. His dad says the online contest started out with about 1,500 entries, and Emmett has advanced to the top 25. Since word of Emmett's fantastic follicles got out, he's been invited to throw out the first pitch at a college baseball game. All right, so I was thinking of how to tie this story with the next story. How about this? If you want to grow a mullet, you can go to this place and enjoy something new. That's the best I got. I'm sorry. Buffalo Wild Wings adding pizzas to its menu for the first time. Yeah, I know it's bad. The thin crust pizzas going to be topped with boneless chicken wings. Customers will have two options. There's the Buffalo Boneless Bar Pizza and the Honey Barbecue Boneless Bar Pizza. The pizza is going to cost $9.99 each at the restaurants, and they are available, you guessed it now, but for a limited time only. That reminds me of my wife and my oldest. They could eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. Enjoy it. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to learn more about a new partnership between Pittsburgh businesses and Pitt State to bring students workforce experience.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky holds talks in Lviv while tensions continue to build outside of Europe's largest nuclear power plant. In Kyiv, Ukraine, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on this story coming up.
Pittsburgh's local companies are looking for workforce from Pittsburgh State University. KOAM's Yana Hatala joins us and has more.
This fall semester, 2 local Pittsburgh companies partner with the Pittsburgh State University to gain some workforce, but also to provide those students some real-life work experience.
The 2 companies, CDL Electric and Miller's Professional Imaging, are planning to hire 30 PSU students in total to work with wages in addition to a scholarship.
So it's a very generous $2,500 scholarship that, if they come in, they do a good job, they'll qualify for that.
Some of these kids who didn't think there was a way for them to go to school and be a tradesman, we're just trying to give them a better path.
The companies are looking for students that come and work with a positive mindset.
We're looking for some kids that just want to come in and work hard, and if they show us those traits, we're going to help them magnify their abilities.
The internship could also provide a positive, long-lasting effect.
If they did have a specific study, field of study they went through, we would like to keep them on and help us continue to grow.
Not only are we interning them, we're training them to come in to CDL and work. And so, best of both worlds from us.
Both companies will start the application process soon. Stacy Butcher is ready for the interview process to start.
We're just looking for kids who are going to be 2 feet in, come in, work hard, do what's asked, and actually learn something. Pick out 10, do some interviews, and we'll get them right in. So this program will start this semester.
In Pittsburgh, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Classes at Pitt State start next Monday, August 22nd. Now, CDL Electric says some students have already reached out to them. One Joplin LGBTQ organization is making an effort to create a safe space for teens and young adults returning to school. KOAM's Amber Jenkins says more.
JOMO Equality is hosting a free back-to-school pride skate. LGBTQ teens, young adults, and allies can skate free at Skateland in Webb City.
To just come and have fun and to realize that they have support. We're always here. We're always available, and everybody has family when you're with us.
Educating the public is one of their goals.
Safe spot for anybody where we can educate and we can support each other, come together, have fun events like tonight.
Events like this gives younger LGBTQ plus community members a chance to interact with like-minded individuals, building a support system, and easing anxiety.
With somebody skating in an environment where you feel safe and you know there are people there who aren't going to look at you differently, it's just very, very affirming, very safe.
Having an established support system before the first day of school gives students an outlet that understands their plight.
Very accepting family, but I have a lot of people who did not at all. There's a lot of tragic stories out there, and I think having a community makes you feel a lot less alone.
Reporting in Webb City, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
To reach out to JOMO Equality, just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Highway deaths are on the uptick and continuing to rise. Roadway deaths went up 7% during the first 3 months of the year to more than 9,500. That's the highest first quarter in 20 years. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, highway deaths have been falling for 3 years prior to the pandemic. The NHTSA says infrastructure money is going to be available for investments in better highway safety. A new poll shows a divide among Americans on whether marijuana is good for society or bad. The Gallup poll, taken in July, shows Americans are evenly split on marijuana's social effects, with about half saying it's positive and about half saying it's negative. 70% who did try marijuana say it's beneficial to society. 68% of Americans want it outright legalized. Russian forces targeted the city of Kharkiv overnight and caused widespread damage. The attack came just hours before high-level talks took place. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more.
Any potential damage to Zaporizhia is suicide.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is calling for a demilitarized zone around Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. On Thursday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with the UN's chief and the president of Turkey in Lviv. Zelensky asked Guterres to ensure security of the Russian-occupied facility, which continued to see shelling this week. Moscow and Kyiv have accused one another of planning a provocation at the plant on Friday.
Common sense must prevail to avoid any actions that might endanger the physical integrity, safety or security of the nuclear plant.
Meanwhile, in eastern Ukraine, rescue efforts took place in the country's second largest city, Kharkiv. Russian forces shelled the region overnight, leaving dozens of people dead or wounded. Others are now searching for loved ones.
Many people might be left there. My friend, my good friend for more than 20 years, is there.
All of this as President Zelensky faces backlash after telling the Washington Post he knew about the possibility of war, but avoided a formal declaration to avoid chaos across his country. Zelensky telling the paper, quote, "If we sow chaos among people before the invasion, the Russians will devour us, because during chaos, people flee the country." Critics argue preparation could have saved lives. Zelensky claims if he gave advance notice that Russian forces could have taken the country within 3 days. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
A bit later, how some technology and algorithms are going to prevent parties at Airbnbs not meant for parties.
We are in.
Well, it turned out to be a nice day for us today. Temperatures are really pretty good. Most of us mid to upper 80s across the region. We were partly cloudy skies with those cumulus clouds out there. Once we lost the heating of the day, of course, the clouds disappeared. So we have clear skies across the region right now. All right, we got the rain Tuesday night. Fairly widespread. About 80% of us did get rain. Put a little dent into the drought, but not huge. Still extreme drought, southwestern Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Severe drought for everyone else. So we need a little bit more rain. We do have some rain chances in the forecast. At least temps have been better. Look at this. Past 3 days, we've been a little bit below normal, which is kind of nice to see. Our high temperatures, most of us today, about 86, 87 degrees on average. We've dropped off a bit over the past few hours, but still really nice. Most of us are sitting into the mid 70s. Case in point, 73 in Nevada, 74 in Anderson, Veneta 73, Chanute 79, Pittsburgh at 75 degrees. Let's go outside at the airport in Joplin, sitting at 76. Humidity is at 60%. There's nothing going on. We have clear skies here. Some showers, thunderstorms down to our south, but our next storm system is actually up north. You can see it's spinning across parts of Minnesota. And this little line, showers and thunderstorms, a front that's going to try to get in. It's going to wash out, but it is going to try to get in by the time we head into tomorrow night, also into the weekend. So let's go through time. Future track forecast, low to mid 60s to start. That's very comfortable. Quick warm up. We warm 70s, mid 80s by noon, and then most of us will top out 90, 91 as we head into the afternoon. All right, so here's 4 p.m. Look at the scattered thunderstorms in our northern counties. These will try to press in. They're really going to fall apart. But as we go through the evening hours, additional scattered thunderstorms try to get going, especially after midnight for us tomorrow night. Here's 2 a.m. and then going into Saturday morning. Majority of any scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night will be north of Interstate 44. Saturday, a few morning scattered thunderstorms, and then as we head into the afternoon, we're going to flip-flop this. Scattered thunderstorms again, but mainly along and south of Interstate 44. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday evening, Saturday night, and into Sunday morning. If you have outdoor activities tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, even though we're going to have those hit-and-miss storms, don't cancel them because they're going to be very hit-and-miss, and even if you do get hit, it's not going to last long. All right, 63 in the morning, 85 by noon. We'll make it up to 91, 90 by 5. Northern counties picking up a few hit-and-miss storms late in the day tomorrow. 91, 93 Saturday, 84 on Sunday. 90 Monday, 95 Tuesday, 97 on Wednesday. It gets a little hotter. It's not over 100, but we're flirting with it. So, but at least we're staying in the 90s right now.
I'm done flirting, Doug.
I know.
I'm done with the flirting.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll see you a little bit.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much. Coming up in sports, Goleta aims to build on last season's 8-2 record. Plus, Parsons finding leaders to help take the program to the next level. Going to hear from the team next. Airbnb is using technology to crack down on those who use their vacation rental offerings to throw wild parties. Can't do that. Fox's Jamie Chambers has more.
It's a brave new world for Airbnb as they attempt to crack down once and for all on parties.
We began banning parties in the summer of 2020 as we began to see some, I think, concerning trends.
Using a new algorithm, Airbnb can pre-qualify the type of person renting out the spot and refuse the order if the algorithm flags the person as someone who might be throwing a party.
An 18-year-old who has no reviews, who stood up his account yesterday, all of a sudden he's trying to book a 6-bedroom mansion in La Jolla on Halloween for one night. You know, all those are signals that start popping.
We've had issues when I had an Airbnb, right? Someone actually fell off the roof when they weren't supposed to be partying on the roof. So it was a big liability.
Efren Andaluz says while the intent to keep partying down is good, he worries about what the algorithm will flag.
There's a factor of judging people. There's a factor of like people's skin color maybe playing a part on who you're saying can and cannot be in the Airbnb.
Airbnb has reported party issues have dropped by 60% in California, and the new system might drive those numbers higher, even at the cost of bookings.
Being around the water, it could definitely affect it because it seems like an area where a lot of young people would want to like party all night.
Marco Lewis says his current Airbnb already has some strange anti-partying measures built in.
They have passive noise monitoring systems, so if it's too loud, then they get called and, you know, all that stuff.
You know, when an unauthorized party happens, it doesn't just impact our host, it impacts neighbors.
All right, coming up, our weekly tradition of seeing what's new to those theaters and now available at home streaming. An Idris Elba-led thriller, a horror prequel, and She-Hulk makes her streaming debut. Here's a look at this week's new releases with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Go back to the calls.
In theaters nationwide is the heart-pounding survival thriller Beast, led by Idris Elba. The story follows a recent widow at a game reserve in South Africa with his daughters, where a vengeful rogue lion who survived poachers starts stalking them.
I'd rather die than go back with you.
We're gonna have this baby. We're gonna be a family.
In select theaters on digital and on demand is Bulletproof, about a thief who steals millions from a mob boss, then finds the boss's wife in his getaway car, leading them on the run together.
Welcome home, Esther.
Esther is back in theaters on digital and on Paramount Plus with the prequel to the horror hit Orphan First Kill. Esther, escaped from a psychiatric facility, impersonates the daughter of a wealthy family, but finds herself up against a mother who will protect her family at all costs.
What do you mean missing? She may have been taken.
Netflix starts streaming Echoes with Michelle Monaghan. The limited series is about twins who secretly swapped lives as kids, but whose orchestrated double life unravels when one of them goes missing. Tatiana Maslany leads the Disney Plus series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, taking on superhuman clients, honing Hulk's superpowers, and bantering with cousin Bruce Banner along the way.
Why do you want to hunt?
Then, for those who still have to catch up on their Predator franchise viewing, Hulu's action thriller Prey brings a story set 300 years ago in the Comanche Nation. A movie which is now the #1 premiere on the streamer to date.
Whatever did this, I can kill it.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
She-Hulk. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Gonna leave you with more video of tonight's third Thursday in Joplin, Dog Days of Summer. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.